the term value is being used in healthcare, has been used for a while, but it's certainly pretty predominant today. Simple definition of that is just sort of a level of quality for the amount spent or for cost. I guess I'm wondering to what extent quality of care and throw in safety as part of quality is considered in insurance regulation. I think you hit on this a little bit earlier when you talked about formulary decisions. One might argue that is addressing quality, but I'm just wondering, sort of to what degree if we think about risk and insurance regulation, certainly the financial piece is a big component of that, making sure companies have enough in reserves, making sure the rates that they're charging are fair and appropriate given the risk taken on. But adding quality to the mix or safety certainly complicates things, and I'm wondering your thoughts on that.
Those are obviously critical considerations as we talk about health innovation. In terms of when you think about the heart of insurance regulation, those types of issues, safety, quality, those at least traditionally haven't been kind of at the heart of insurance regulation. As I mentioned before, our role is really to protect the insurance buying public. And as you mentioned, we do that by ensuring that companies are financially sound and they're going to be around long-term to pay claims. We review policies to make sure they have all the benefits they need in them. And we look at rates to make sure that rates are not inadequate or excessive or unfairly discriminatory. We also take complaints from consumers and we try to help those consumers. And then we look for patterns of bad behavior, if you will, by insurance companies. And we do examinations of companies. And we also, though, try to provide good information for consumers and education so they can they can make good decisions for themselves and their families. So in terms of these issues, they're not really at the heart of what we do. But having said that, though, I think, I'm really excited about a lot of the conversations we're having around health innovation because I think there are opportunities for us to learn from those conversations and to then adopt into our regulation of insurance some of those ideas and concepts. And let me give you a really concrete example of that. When I was in Oregon, I had a lot of health insurers come to me at one point and say, we're trying to negotiate with hospitals, and as part of our contracts with hospitals, we'd like to include what we call a never events clause. So if something happens, if a service is provided at a hospital that is, quote, kind of a never event, so if I go in for an amputation of my left arm and the right arm is amputated, we can all agree that should never happen. Insurance companies don't want to pay for that, as you can imagine. So they want to have a clause that basically says just that. They were struggling to get that clause in their contracts with hospitals. And I think, as I was looking at it then and as I think about it now, I think there's ways to address some of those issues through, for example, our rate review process. So I do think there are opportunities, even though it's not kind of at the heart or core of what we do, I think there are opportunities as we learn from our innovation discussions to incorporate what we're learning into our insurance regulation.